So sirens are going off right now again, 30 minutes after they went off. You hear them? 30 minutes after they went off the last time, noon. It's now 12:30.
We are joined by Becca Solomon, former WPIX reporter who is currently in Israel. Welcome, Becca. Thank you for being with us today and taking the time to speak with us about what you are witnessing firsthand.
Thank you for having me.
So please tell us where you are right now, if it's safe to disclose.
Absolutely. So we're in the central part of the country near Tel Aviv in a town called Rishon LeZion. And this is where my husband's family lives. It's the fourth largest city in Israel.
And what brought you to Israel? You're visiting your in-laws, correct?
Yeah, so we come to Israel every year, especially around this time. This is a really fun time to come to Israel because you have the holiday of Sukkot, which is joyous and fun, and it ends with another joyous holiday. And unfortunately, that happened to be on Saturday when the attack started. But we go every year. My husband's family lives here, and my husband is from here, born and raised. He actually just got his American citizenship a couple like 2 years ago or a year ago, maybe it was. I'm bad with time, but so he is a proud Israeli, and I love coming to this country for all of the obvious reasons: the culture, the food, the people. But also, I'm a proud Jewish American, so I love to support Israel in any way I can.
So what is happening right now where you are?
So what we've been seeing where I am, which is at about an hour north of Gaza, where most of the turmoil is happening. So where I am right now, what we deal with up in the sky are rockets, and we hear the missiles and we hear the rockets firing. And when that happens, we hear sirens. And when the sirens go off, we have to take shelter. So sirens are going off right now again, 30 minutes after they went off. You hear them? 30 minutes after they went off the last time, noon. It's now 12:30. So we're gonna go into the shelter. This is during the day, so I'm giving you a live look. Normally it's dark in here because my baby is sleeping in the bomb shelter this here. We just shut the door to the bomb shelter. So that's what we do, and we just wait. So in this part of the area, in the central part of the country, we're seeing a lot of the activity from up in the sky. And the one part that is our saving grace, and I'm counting my blessings for, is the Iron Dome, which intercepts the missiles up in the sky so they don't make landfall. And every now and then they do, because nothing is perfect. But in that case, we're protected by the bomb shelters.
Are you sheltering in place right now with your in-laws?
There's no restriction in place to be at home. I've chosen to be at home at their apartment. This is my comfort. I like being right where I know I can get to safety, especially now as a new mom. My daughter, she'll be 8 months in like a couple days, and I feel most comfortable here. You do start seeing some cars out on the roads, but no matter where you go, everything is still very it's not lively right now. Everything is very quiet, and people know where their nearest shelter will be if they are going out, say to the drugstore to pick something up, or a market. But I prefer to be close to home.
Are you hearing? I heard sirens in one of your Instagram stories. There were sirens, and then you did shelter in place in a bomb shelter. Is that bomb shelter located nearby where you're staying with your in-laws?
Yeah, so every residence in Israel, there are different options for people, and everyone has an option because that's just what Israel does. They look out for their people. But in the case of my in-laws apartment, it's a newer apartment. So they actually have the bomb shelter is actually it's one of the rooms. It actually is the room where my baby sleeps. And what you do is you change the door. So there's two doors attached to the entryway, and one door is just a normal room door, bedroom. But if you shut the steel door, the other one, it becomes then the bomb shelter. So ours happens to be right here. In other places, bomb shelter might be in the basement of an older building, or you can go into a stairwell where you're protected. restaurants, malls, public places, they all have their own form of a bomb shelter.
You're planning on taking a flight out of Israel this week and returning home to the United States. Is there fear in leaving what you know right now, which is the safety of your in-laws' home, apartment, and bomb shelter? Has there been any instructions on how to travel safely to the airport? Because the airport is a big focal point of danger. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And I think about it at least once an hour, because we were supposed to fly out on the 17th of October. And just yesterday, I was able to contact the airline, and they were able to move us up on a flight on Thursday, will be when now we're supposed to be taking off. I wish it was sooner, but flights are being canceled left and right. As far as getting to the airport, to answer your question, that's my fear number one. Is actually the airport from here is only, it's actually right off in like where my finger is pointing, out in that just right 20-minute drive, not far at all. Driving though, for me, I'm petrified because I don't know what could happen on the drive there. And as we're seeing in today's reports, and as we're seeing with my eyes, the airport is, they are getting bombs out in that way. So we hope we can drive to the airport. Then once we're at the airport, yes, we hope our flight also is still on schedule and leaves. And once you're in the airport, I mean, they have secure places there, but like you don't know what could happen. So I hope everything still goes as scheduled, meaning we can leave on Thursday safely, but flights are going out. I know the national airline of Israel, El Al, is still flying. Some of the American airlines, Delta, American, or US Air, I should say, they have canceled a lot of flights, but I don't know what will happen come Thursday. I hope we can, I as much as I want to, as safe as I feel in the bomb shelter, I think it's important for me to get back to my first home and regroup there, for the safety of me and my baby and my husband. And the Israelis here, they support that, they understand that, but they are so proud to be where they are and be in their country and stay put.
Now, for you, you are visiting family members. Those family members will continue to stay in Israel, or are they able to come to the United States with you?
You say, are they able to? Well, sure, they're able to if they want to, but as I said, they don't want to come. They don't want to come to New York. Many of them are very proud of this, of where they are. They don't want to leave. It's a sense of pride that I can't describe. I knew about it when I first visited Israel, and even more so when I started dating my now husband, who's Israeli. I know of that pride from their personalities, who they are, there's an aura about them. But being here now, I understand it on a whole new level. So I said to my mother-in-law this morning casually, I was like, listen, I said, if you want to come back with us, and she just kind of like brushed it off, like, no, like, we're here.
Mm-hmm. Has there been a change since the attack happened, since war was declared? What is the climate? You mentioned that things are quieter, things are different. Is there a feeling of fear in the air? Is there, like you said, you're in a normal environment, but everything is abnormal?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. It's very eerie. It's very scary. Israel is a lively nation. It is so developed, and there's so much love and excitement in the air when you land in Israel, in Tel Aviv. Wherever you go, people are welcoming and shoving food down your throat, and wine and music and dancing and shopping. They love shopping. And there's none of that right now. Everything has come to a halt. It, in a way, reminds me of kind of the beginning of the pandemic, when we were, everything was like a ghost town. It's very eerie in that sense. You have some people who are scared, and rightfully so, children who have to stay in the bomb shelters and sleep, and it's scary, and mothers, and then you have people who are no longer active military, like they're in the reserves or what have you, and they are like, put me in, I'm ready to fight. Like I want to serve my country. And it's in a way that I can't describe that to anything I've ever seen ever. So yes, it's scary, but there's a lot of strength as well. This isn't a time to be gathering. We're supposed to have, my mother-in-law was going to have 24 people over Tuesday. And, obviously you just cancel that. It's just not the time. It's not appropriate. It's a time of mourning.
Yeah. I think what has been so startling is that this is not a war against military versus military. Innocents, civilians were attacked, women and children being kidnapped. Is there any knowledge that you're getting from being in Israel that maybe we're not getting back here in the United States about the targeting of women and children by Hamas?
It's so disturbing. As a woman and now as a mom, it's so disturbing on a different level to know that a group of terrorists thought this would be a way to either prove a point by kidnapping people, raping them, holding them hostage, murdering them, and for what, right? So is it because they want to hold them hostage so that Israel will say, okay, let's come up with an agreement here. You release them. We won't fight back, because we certainly know the IDF is very capable, and as we're seeing, of fighting back. I don't know what the reason is behind that. I'm not hearing anything, inside scoop of what's behind their decision to do that. All I know is what I'm hearing on the stories and on the news here in Israel, which is on, my in-laws are just, they're glued to the TV, obviously. It's the stories of these victims and, fathers who are begging for the government here to locate their daughters who have escaped and or who have been kidnapped, and God knows what their Hamas is doing to them in Gaza right now. And it's just, it's a nightmare to think about that. I don't know why you would take a child, anyone. I don't know why it's one thing to have we've had wars for all of eternity, everywhere. There's battles and wars. But what happened on Saturday just takes it on to a whole new level. And I don't understand. And things are going to get a lot worse before they get better, I fear.
Yes. I know your time is short and I want you to be with your family. Is there a fear that you won't be able to leave later this week and that you stay in Israel for an unknown period of time?
There is a fear. I mean, we're seeing flights are going out. I think right now they are. I think I signed up for all the notifications through like the embassy, which is what you're supposed to do when you're here. And, there's alerts and whatnot that flights have been canceled, whatnot, but the airport is still operating. Yes, I am scared that I will not be able to fly out on Thursday. That's my biggest concern, that if things continue to escalate, or even if just the airlines decide that this is not the right time to get us back, that I will be here. Now, while I'm here, again, I know I'm in a safe place. My husband keeps reminding me that the bomb shelter is the safest situation. But for my mind and my heart and my sanity and my health, I feel as if being back home in New York is where I want to be. And if that means continuing to be a voice for Israel and the people of Israel, and I will do that. But I want to I just want to go home.
Becca, thank you. We will be keeping in touch with you as this is a developing story, and thinking about you during this unprecedented time in our world's history.